before we hear what's going to happen here. Okay, I needed this. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Jennifer Glatzhofer, but you could call me Jen. I'm a musical theatre performer and a voice teacher. And today I am jumping into a new vocalist here for the channel. I think he's been going around for quite some time. But today I will be reacting to and analysing. The title says, Metal Singer Performs Amazing Grace. First thoughts, Amazing Grace sung by a metal singer. Intrigued. I am looking forward to this. It is a very popular song, normally sung not by a metal singer, so I'm intrigued. This will be Dan Vasc singing it. This is our singer today. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing what kind of vocals we're going to be getting. As always, this is a reaction and an analysis video, so I will be stopping and talking about the vocals. That's what I like to do over here. If you'd rather watch the full thing uninterrupted, I've left the link to the original video in the description below. If you do enjoy what I'm doing over here and learn a thing or two along the way, then please do consider checking me out over on Patreon. The link to my Patreon page can also be found in the description below. And if you are unaware, I am in the process of releasing original music. I have already got one single out called I'm Not a Fan. Do go ahead and listen to that on any major streaming platform, your platform of choosing, but we are working on a full album and something very exciting happening soon. Woo! But don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the bell button to be notified anytime I post, and let's get to it.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see.
Okay, cool. First thoughts on the intro. I love how empty it is. Like, it's so far just his vocals, nothing else. So he's carrying this melody, this well-known melody, and vocally very, we're connected to his chest voice. We're in the lower part of his register. We are introduced to a very spoken-like melodic line. It's very close to where he speaks. It's very like, he's not really, I think as well, because he's not opening his mouth a lot as well and opening up these the longer notes as we would normally when we hear the Amazing Grace. It's quite closed, quite short in some areas. It makes it even more conversational. There are elements of vocal fry. Let's talk about his onsets, actually. Yeah, so some of them have a lot of vocal fry, which is the that one. We'll find out where it is. Probably not isn't on that word. And then there are some scoops, which, are they smooth? Are they glottal? We'll have a look at that. But it's quite current. It's quite pop-esque. That well, let's go from the beginning and we'll pop them out. Point them out. Right.
Amazing grace.
And then, okay, here instantly, I think we get a mixed crescendo, like a fade in, right? He is crescendoing into the note, but I think it's also post-production there. I think he does. Yeah. As soon as he opens a little bit, that's when the vibrato comes in. Later on, he goes straight onto the vibrato as well. The vibrato is kind of quite free at the moment. Sometimes it comes in a little bit later. Sometimes it comes directly onto the note.
Amazing grace.
Great. Onto the diphthong.
The sound.
So here, the sound. It's like two notes on the word rather than the sound. We get that little da-da little step.
That sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me.
And notice that there's a really lovely change between the lower notes, and then we get to that wretch. What's that one? So that's quite open. Wretch. When we get to this part, there's almost a lift with his vocal. It gets a little bit brighter, and I think he's inviting a lot of twang in that specific area. I think that's just as he guides and as he ascends through that passage, it just brings a different sort of quality.
That saved a wretch.
Oh, wretch. Like you can hear a little bit of a difference.
That saved a wretch like me.
And then he softens it up a little bit of a nasal quality there. That was our beautiful vocal fry.
I once was lost, but now I'm found.
I really like this. I'm found. There's really lovely open space to this. And also what's really lovely about the space is that we're getting a little bit of reverb, that kind of space within the vocals. It's not dry and harsh. Really nice. It just fills up that space as well. This is building up really nicely.
But now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see.
And I think at the end, the final phrase, we were I think the vibrato came in a lot more straight tone, then we invite that vibrato, we're letting that kind of spin. I think he's placing them on certain words for effect there. And on the... What's that one? But now... Again, there's a little bit of like a tightening, which can be the AES, which is the twang. I think he is also getting a little bit nasal there as well, just to brighten that sound. It's like he's getting two different qualities here.
Was blind,
where are we going now?
Now I see.
It's very warm down there.
'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear.
Ooh.
And grace my fears relieved.
I love this dark quality on the word release. E is a very bright spread sound, right? Release, where we could have been bright and spread, but he's keeping quite pouty. Release, not like this. Release, and it's just maintaining this dark kind of quality. It feels really quite rich there, but rather than it being quite dark and round, even though he's going loose, what's keeping him bright there is, again, that smaller space, which I'm going to say it's a nasalized sound. I think his soft palate isn't risen all the way. We're getting some of those airwaves coming through the nasal passage, which is just making that space a little bit shorter, therefore brightening that sound. Relieved, not released.
Did the grace appear, the hour I first believed.
Yeah, and I like these dark vowels of vibrato kind of coming in. There's a little bit of like a tremble happening with his head, which we... isn't how vibrato is created. Like, we don't need to move a lot, but I think because everything's quite still, it's that like determination in his eyes, which is why that's happening.
Through many dangers, taunts and snares.
Wait, no, I'm sorry. He felt... Okay. This is so interesting. So obviously we've just gone up the octave. I'm trying to put my keyboard somewhere. But what I'm finding really interesting actually is that the lower quality of the first two verses that we heard, the lower kind of notes that he sung felt really, really lovely and resonant and open. The higher parts are where he kind of held a little bit more of that nasal kind of quality, and the vibrato maybe felt a little bit like with his whole body. But here we've just gone up an octave, and it's so lovely and balanced and open. So really lovely timbres on either end, which is very exciting. I'm intrigued to see where this is going to go. Can you hear the little cry? There's a little bit, it's not a yodel, it kind of sounds like it, but there's like a little bit of a cry. And what that does as well, it helps us remain supported in the E flat, the top part of his chest voice. He's not shouting with volume, he's maintaining a consistent kind of clear volume. We can hear him, he's not quiet, but he's also not like screaming at us. Really interesting. And his mouth's a lot more open here now. A lot. Oh, his vibrato felt a lot different here, actually. So love, come. Then we invited that spin right at the end. He's really taking this on that part of the phrase, on those longer notes, straight tone, then inviting that vibrato. And it felt a lot more free in this area. Before we hear what's going to happen here, I would be really intrigued to hear how he sounds. So it says metal singer, right? So I'm guessing his audience know that he's a metal singer. This is probably something very different to what he sings and what he sounds like. So I'll be intrigued to hear him there, because at the moment we're getting lovely clear tones, like a full vocal fold closure as well. And this area of his voice feels a lot more where his like tessitura would lie. It feels a lot more home to him. Really lovely. There was that lead note, and I'm going to just mention that we're a little bit higher. We're traveling. This whole passage is kind of tiptoeing around his first passage, which is around E, F sharp for male lower set singers. Come. This is an F sharp, so we're right on that point where like that flip Tarzan moment wants to happen. That's where the first passage is. But he is modifying. He has come is lovely on our vowel, but the lead note, I want to go to that. Lead, so E flat here, so the top part of his chest voice still, so he's still like higher than where he normally talk. So rather than we'll lead, just notice how we're remaining everything a bit more open, so he can feel good when singing this and find a natural kind of balance for him. That vibrato sounds so lovely here. Key change. On a harmonica, wow. I love the kind of tremolo sound that the harmonica makes. It's really like pulls you in. He's hitting like unique notes as well with a harmonica, but also backing wise, who did the all instruments? Cool, nice. Okay, so all instruments and vocals arranged and recorded by Dan Vasc. So he did. Okay, that makes a lot more sense. So it's not like he's arranged this piece, so that's why it sounds different. Purposely put like that in the back. Really, really nice. like that moonlight in the corner. That looks cool. Do you know what I mean? Kind of and like a diminuendo on it as well. It's just so effective. It sounds so cool. Thoughts as we're kind of at this point of the song, the middle part of the song. I love how he's built this up and how we've already heard two different kind of qualities. It's really cool. Okay, I needed this. Oh, this is a whole journey. Do you remember when we were at the beginning where we were like down there? Okay, so he's like really building this up and showing different things each time. I love this. I love that, you know, when we hear metal singers and they scream or use a lot of distortion in their vocal folds, it may be like, gosh, how are they doing this? Like, surely we need to be careful of vocal folds. We do. We need to respect vocal folds and, you know, not cause any irritation to them. We've mentioned already how he is achieving, you know, he's got full vocal fold closure. We are getting clear vocal lines. He needs that in order then to do this, because actually this distortion is around the false vocal folds, which lie just above the true vocal folds. And we are not affecting anything that's happening with the true vocal folds. Otherwise, we would cause irritation. So I love this sort of press feel that he has with this distortion. It's in this such small space and delicately there. And I love how it creeps in as well. Sorry, I love how it was all very clear, open, lots of whine in there, lots of support in there. And then he just lets this distortion creep in. Let's go back because yes. 10,000 so clear then. So cool is that he's getting so much distortion up there at the top that when he kind of comes back down, it kind of still holds this very round classical feel, which goes with the original of the song, even though we feel so far away from the original version of the song. Very, very cool. He's doing this a lot as well, which is kind of like a little pinch of the nose. Twang is involved. That's just kind of like a good indicator sometimes because it helps the singer place, and I'm putting place in this because the sound's right here, but we can sometimes... singers can visualize us where they're placing that sound, that the voice, the sound that they want. But sometimes to place a sound somewhere doesn't make sense for singers. So if it doesn't make sense for you, don't use it. If it does, that's what's happening. This kind of twang, it's like that ugly kind of feel, brightens up that sound. So even though he's adding heaps of that distortion, because of where he is, up on that B, he is beautifully mixing this, maintaining very, very thick, but it's a wonderful mix belt with distortion, with that openness. Oh, it's so good. And that tongue's just like... Before we get onto this, I am not ready for this key change. Oh, no. Again. Right, so we've just gone up a semitone. Okay, let's go. I love the strings right at the top. Notice how different this space he's giving to this part of the song than right at the beginning where we were so closed to now being so open. We need that space if we're belting up here. And he's still here as well. He's singing through that diphthong on Grace. Which is different to Amazing Grace. Have the same diphthongs, right? Amazing Grace. But Amazing then he closes. Interesting choice. He could have Amazing Grace. He could have chosen to do it the other way around. He could have chosen to both do the same, but he's gone for two different kind of styles. I personally think it's because he's going into the next key change. So if we're more open, it's a bit more of a bigger impact than Zing Grace. We're there, we've landed, so he can kind of maybe close and give us something different. Oh, I love that hold on in the BVs. I know we're focusing on the BVs. I know we're focusing on his voice instrumentation. There was like a suspension onto that next phrase. Really cool. Right, so we go up to a D5 there. On that distortion, you know, if that distortion wasn't there, maybe, I mean, he would get a clear sound. I'd love to hear him kind of sing this clear, just to see what it sounds like quality-wise. This is obviously his version, sing it however he wants, but just to hear him go on a clear tone. That distortion sounds so great, and it doesn't sound squeezed at all. It's just this is probably it's very much the false vocal folds. I love it. And it's so very light up there. He's not squeezing. And I love the teeth showing, pinching. One more thing just to notice as well is like May. We're opening up to a May rather than like me. Very musical theatre. He's adding heaps of distortion. He's rocking it out now. Open sounds are going to be our friend here to belt and rock out to. So that's what he's going for. And notice this whole phrase, we can really see his tongue just like beautifully placed at the bottom of his mouth, not getting in the way. It seems so tense-free as well. I love this. On to the next line. And how he softens it up too. F5. Wow. Okay. Really cool. You know, earlier when I was like, I'd love to hear him sing. Here it is, people. Here it is. If we were to take away that distortion, we can hear how thin that where he is. He is in a mix. Do not worry. We are definitely mixing. We're not going like head voice if we were just to take away that distortion. But there's just, he knows his voice. He knows how much he can, how much distortion he can add. And it's just a lovely, beautiful layer on the top of where his voice is. And again, notice how we're on the word C, but he's just opted for a vowel, right? Not C, because that would get it very pure. Say, like just getting that right there. Adding that distortion, little grit in there. It's so good. Preparation. He's not reaching for it. He's not otherwise it would be so painful. He's actually just kind of almost doing the opposite. He's anchoring from his extrinsic muscles here as well. Oh, it's so good. Such a lovely setup. There's a slight slide up there. He also does like that throwaway right at the end. We are getting a little bit of jaw movement here with the as he's adding vibrato, which again, as we mentioned before, isn't necessary. Sometimes it's an effect that a singer does to be like, I'm adding vibrato. So if that's what you're doing, go for it. But if you're wanting to copy this sound, we don't need to do this. His tongue's really pulled back actually there as well. Always amazes me. Ooh, okay. Goodness, the breath control on that whole last phrase to not only hold on to a very long note, we're also changing in pitch, we're also changing in register and changing in quality. How much distortion, how much grit do I want to add? Do I want to go back to clear tone? Am I going to be adding vibrato? Am I going to go straight tone? There's so much just happening in that final phrase. And I love, what amazes me is that after we've added so much, no, it doesn't, it amazes me because it clarifies that he isn't hurting himself, which we could have heard that before anyway. But, you know, when we've just added lots of distortion, lots of grit, then we go back to that clear vocal fold quality, and it's like, I feel content. And I love on that C, it's got quite a classical kind of feel, so it's kind of still makes sense with the song, even though we've gone through this whole lovely version of it. But it's maintaining quite pouty. Opens, changes and shows teeth. Like, notice how bright that is as soon as you do that. Like, getting a lot more of a thicker quality. Then as he closes, he's still on his thicker folds, but it's just a different kind of quality. It's not as like sending out forward. And it goes a bit rounder again. There's a slight distortion tipping. Oof. Wow. Wowie wow. Right, go on then. Where shall I go next with this wonderful singer? I'm really intrigued to hear some more and just comment more on his voice, listen to more of what he's got out there. Do let me know. Thank you very much for watching this reaction and analysis video. If you did enjoy it, please go ahead and click that subscribe button, the bell button, and the thumbs up button. And I'll be sure to see you soon for another video.